encompassing, embracing the whole circle. And the third circle was observers, right? There was observing, and then this life. What was that? Breath. Breathing.
Physiologically.
There was something really powerful.
My reaction.
To let go of this and create this. When I went from this and created, there was a new shape that formed. It wasn't in my head. It was just that felt like what needed to happen. Once I went this way, completely different feeling.
What was it like?
It was this sense of rebirth, of reopening, of redefining. The thought went through my mind that the tea isn't anymore. There's something new. Then I found myself with this shape for a while, and then it started to move, and I had my eyes closed. That was the other part of it. My eyes were closed. They were, and as I started to move, and then I had the sense that this started to happen, which was the inner and the outer. It felt like that. And then my eyes opened, and then I could see you all. So there was this sense of reopening, redefinition, seeing actually I had the sense of seeing the people. That
basically, you were a full incorporated team. Whereas before it was something
intellectual.
Intellectual or symbolic, or not incorporating everything anymore. But this, you're still completely T. It's a completely different energy, and you encompass it and are supported by what's surrounding that, or it's a mutual support. Probably.
That's very interesting, because I was so close to it that when you did your gesture out, I had a sense we're losing something. We're losing the T. And with somehow, with all the changes, the T has to. So I don't know if you felt it. I
felt it because you did, and then what I did was I came around it because you were not going to stop this from happening.
So I ended up like this. But I wasn't. It wasn't like the old T. It was still. The party was much less significant than the T. But this, I wasn't able to see the fact that it had incorporated in something.
As the hands have a lot more space in the head, in the brain than anything else, you were all in your brains. I think you do what you think you should do. It was all like this. So I had not the impression there's real heart in there. And the second thing is, right before the end, I just wanted to go in to bring direction to this, because it's a transport system. It's not a loving system, it's a transport system. Right? It's not a sharing system, it's something to help, to achieve something together. And this direction I completely missed. But you just stopped, so that's...
Can I just say something from this part of the system? Because it felt like there was an impetus that needed to happen out here in the system that didn't care what was going. In fact, couldn't even see what was going on at the central point. But it needed to be brought, the life or whatever it was. It wasn't a head thing. It was. It needed to be brought in from here and regenerate from out in the system somewhere.
We focused on the Mother Earth versus the global. Is global just Mother Earth, or is it? And again, humans, are we part of Mother Earth? And even it's still it's coming from the Earth, so are we all part of it? Environment, yes.
Fragmented.
Yes, and I think that's the difference between the two exercises. The one that we did before, in which we all moved around Earth, and this one which was Earth.
Separate.
And when we flow with it, something happens. When we don't,
we felt lost.
Maybe action is what connects us.
Yes, and purpose. We did have a purpose. The first time we were moving with a purpose. The second time, I don't know, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any purpose.
Everybody is individually very grumpy, and they couldn't connect even if they wanted to, and so it keeps people from having that kind of quiet moment on the subway for themselves, as well as talking to their neighbor. And so some of the same challenges with the T, whether it's communication or the sound environment or the clarity of a lot of the interactions, you know, those same problems might be addressed by different groups here because they affect at different levels, but they have, you know, personal effect. I can't center myself. I can't have what could be this quiet, calm, rejuvenating moment between home and work is actually the opposite. They people through the word stress up there and confusion, and it also causes social stress because you can't connect and you're getting in everybody else's way. So it's interesting to just take some of these same issues and think about the personal versus the communal impact. If it means that fixing some of them will change things on a personal and communal, organizational, and even local way.
Like the kids in the streets are just looking for your car to get stuck. And they earn from it by pushing it into place as soon as it's needed.
So do you think that it's because in the Philippines, when you describe the system being in the middle, is it because the system is so weak, it doesn't influence?
It is weak in a certain sense, and it is strong. Meaning strong is when you don't want to be bothered, then it just dictates on your life. But, you know, if you just open your eyes, Filipinos have many ways of dealing with it. The best one of all is make a joke out of it. So if I can't beat you, I'll just make a joke out of you. And everything just
So people don't depend on it in the same
no,
way?
no, they don't depend on the state. We depend more on families and friends. So relationships.
Self-organizing, basically.
Yes.
So the community, the civil society,
yeah,
it's absolutely. But I think we discussed it in our group. It's all about the mental models.
It's all about mental models.
Mental models from
It's a place of possibility, right? Like
The train is 10 minutes too late. And we really expect everything to be the lightning salt.
I didn't do it, but that started like an opening in myself.
Literally, you guys separated. As somebody on the periphery, we started to see cracks. Literally, I did, and I saw, oh, there's a place for me as in this system. I mean, I watched that. I felt comfortable. I wanted to know, did you ever feel overwhelmed, or was it just tired?
The only time I felt overwhelmed was toward the end. There was this sense of, does it completely crash? Because I was feeling overwhelmed at that point. Yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
And then there was this, then somebody or somebodies started to move this way. And that's where the crack started.
Got it. Thank you.
So we noticed kind of different versions of the crack, kind of much sharper, better, precise way of observing it. And that it's not one crack objectively, but it shows up kind of from different perspectives of the system in very different ways. We saw kind of a transformation from sculpture 1 into sculpture 2, and we also realized that this wasn't the end of the story. It was like a midway transition, and that more work needs to be done. That in our case we identified some topics around. So this is kind of a perfect setup to now move into the remaining kind of steps in the afternoon, where we will kind of use the method that was explained and kind of given in an overview earlier to, use kind of a different body of methodology to continue the same movement. So so what we are asking you is also now to make a little bit the transition kind of from one style of methodology to another. And what we really do as a community of practitioners is to blend different traditions and methodologies of work. So it needs all our attention, and intention kind of to really make that work. Thank you. With that, I turn over.